I'm Ethan Stern, and I grew up in upstate New York, Ithaca. I now live in Seattle, Washington. I have a background in ceramics, started making clay and making pots and functional ceramics and sculpture. My journey with glass is sort of grew from that in terms of wanting to make glass a really tactile material and be able to manipulate it almost like you would clay. So I blow glass and with multiple layers of color, and then I take it into the cold shop, the engraving studio, and cut the surface. It's sort of become the way that I can make the glass surface almost appear as if it's clay. It's matte, there's rough, there's smooth, there's all kinds of different textures and surfaces, and it really absorbs light, brings kind of new way of looking at the surface. I think that, one of the reasons why I carve the glass is so that I can sort of put my fingerprint in it. Right now, what's really inspiring to me is sort of that the interaction between our natural environment and our industrial environment. And I live in a city, really industrial area, trains, the viaduct, the highway, trucks, planes, everything. It's all right there, and it's loud and it's dirty. But the Northwest is the type of place where, from any vantage point, you almost have a view of mountains, water, trees. So with that, what I've been looking at is sort of that looking closely at texture and surface, and the differences or connections between that natural surface and the industrial surface or man-made surface. Polar Wanderings is the name of this series, and this sort of fantasy geography imagery is sort of based on that idea of one, how recognizable kind of topography and geography is to us when we see it on a map or in that kind of zone. And the second thing is kind of taking a sort of macro look at this really large landscape, so that we're actually looking at that coastline as sort of a graphic element, creating a composition. And this is sort of longitude, latitude. We have a linear element there. And that's sort of where that geography imagery comes from. Here's just a few of the shapes that I'm going to be kind of working from, and they're squares essentially, and they have some variation in like the top and stuff. So while I'm here at the museum during this residency, I'm going to be focusing on a couple things, but mainly on one body of work, and it's a body of work entitled Changing Light. It's really about contrast. This whole side here has been carved off and removed. And when it was blown in the hot shop, this is sort of what the whole thing looked like. So this has a cane technique, which is Italian technique of pulling long strands of glass, rolling it up onto the bubble. And then what I'm doing is carving through the cane a little bit to create that kind of eroded surface. If you haven't worked with me before, like basically what we do is get all the cup on there and then blow up a bubble and heat it up and lay it on a kiln shelf and swoosh it on the kiln shelf with cork paddles and graphite paddles. And when that's happening, we have somebody's on the pipe, somebody's capping the pipe, potentially blowing and capping, and then somebody is kind of at the kiln shelf station with me, and that person is like using the compressed air to blow the cork crumbs off the shelf, get the smoke out of the face and all that stuff. Okay. All right, Ben, that's great. Let's do that again. One of the reasons why this is such a great opportunity is that I get a chance to step back a little bit during the process and actually, do some drawing while the piece is being made. And that's something that's so valuable. The hot shop experience is always intense. It's fast. You're making decisions like really quick. So having a team of people here that are helping me facilitate that alleviates a huge amount of kind of coordination and stress that normally comes in the shop sometimes. One of the reasons why I moved from ceramics to glass is because that glass, it needs that team. You're relying on people, you're collaborating with other artists all the time, and I love that. So, good, we're done. Done? Done.